The heavens whisper to your spirit, beloved, in this sacred moment where time folds into eternity. A divine breath stirs the air around you, carrying revelations that have waited lifetimes to reach your ears. This isn't mere coincidence, your soul's persistent yearning, the midnight tears soaking your pillow, the ache for clarity that pulses like a second heartbeat, all have converged to birth this revelation. The Creator who numbers every strand of your hair, who collects your tears in celestial vessels, now parts the veil between the seen and unseen. What follows may unsettle you, but let courage steady your trembling hands. These truths aren't weapons to wound, but keys forged in the furnace of eternal love to unlock prisons you've carried without knowing. Your journey has been etched with silent questions, those unspoken whys that linger in hospital corridors, the phantom conversations with empty chairs, the desperate grasping at fragments of memories like trying to catch smoke. That hollow space within you, shaped like someone's laughter, someone's scent, someone's unfinished sentences, it wasn't meant to torment you. Every tear you've shed over their absence has been preserved, each sob echoing through dimensions until it reached the throne room. The one who paints galaxies across the cosmos has walked beside you, cataloging every fractured piece of your heart. Now the divine scalpel prepares to remove the infection of uncertainty that's poisoned your peace. There exists a soul now beyond earthly chains, someone whose heartbeat once synced with yours in moments words failed to capture. They dwell where clocks hold no power, yet their love transcends mortality's cruel divide. In life they carried burdens too volatile to voice, truths that burn their tongue like molten iron. Picture them wrestling with words in midnight hours, rehearsing conversations that dissolved into sighs. Their eyes saw shadows dancing behind smiling faces you trusted, recognized wolves draped in compassion's disguise. They ached to rip away the masks, to shield you from vipers nesting in your inner circle, but mortal constraints bound their courage. Time, that relentless thief, stole their chance to warn you until now. The deception you've endured wasn't born in obvious darkness. It came wrapped in familiar laughter, disguised as concern, camouflaged within embraces that felt like home. While you extended grace, certain hands were etching lies into stone tablets. While you built bridges, hidden saboteurs loosened the bolts. The departed saint witnessed this silent war, saw trusted comrades trading your vulnerabilities like currency, observed allies rehearsing betrayal in dressing rooms of their minds. Their warnings died unborn in their throat, casualties of mortal fear and imperfect timing. But eternity has resurrected their silenced truth, delivering what earthly limitations prevented. This revelation isn't about nurturing bitterness, it's about gifting you supernatural discernment. The divine intent isn't to paralyze you with suspicion, but to anoint your spiritual eyes with sacred ointment. Those who betrayed you aren't monsters, but broken vessels ensnared by their own shadows. Their actions whisper more about their inner poverty than your worth. The challenge now, to walk in radical wisdom without surrendering to cynicism's cold embrace, to love fearlessly while holding discernment like a lantern in the fog. The enemy of your soul doesn't announce his schemes with trumpet blares. He slithers through cracks in relationships, twists noble intentions, exploits your magnificent capacity for trust. That project that collapsed overnight. The friendship that curdled without explanation. The opportunities that evaporated like morning dew. Behind these weren't random misfortunes, but carefully orchestrated sabotage. The departed ones saw these traps being set, watched as wolves in wool circled their beloved sheep, and now their anguished silence finds voice through eternal realms. But here's the sacred paradox: the very betrayals meant to destroy you have been unwittingly forging your spiritual armor. Every lie you survived has strengthened your resolve. Every false friend has unknowingly taught you to rely on divine friendship. The delays in your blessings, celestial strategies ensuring you're prepared for the weight of your destiny. The maker of stars isn't intimidated by hell's petty schemes. He's been redirecting curses into launch pads for your ascension. Your loved one's eternal perspective now reveals what earthly eyes couldn't grasp. They see the complete tapestry, how every thread of pain weaves into a masterpiece of purpose. Their message isn't a haunting, but a holy commissioning. They urge you to trade naivete for wisdom, to let discernment temper your grace. This isn't about distrusting humanity, but aligning with heaven's frequency to recognize wolves without losing your capacity to love lambs. The road ahead glows with promise, but requires vigilance. Some relationships need boundaries, not walls, but wise filters. Certain conversations demand cautious participation. Dreams must be guarded like sacred texts until their season of fruition. This isn't living in fear, but walking in empowered stewardship of your divine assignment. The one who neither slumbers nor sleeps will highlight dangers without extinguishing your joy. As you process this celestial download, reject the urge to revisit past interactions with regret's harsh lens. The departed loved one isn't accusing you of blindness, they're equipping you for clearer vision. Their eternal message overflows with protective love, not condemnation. Forgive yourself for trusting too freely. That open heart reflects Christ's nature. Now let wisdom and innocence dance together in divine rhythm. The emptiness you've carried, its sacred space being filled with eternal perspective. Those midnight questions find answers in this revelation. The confusion lifts like morning fog burned away by sunlight. You're not alone in this awakening. The cloud of witnesses cheers as you receive this long-awaited clarity. Breathe deeply, child of eternity. The same power that raised Lazarus stirs within you, resurrecting dead understanding into living truth. Walk forward with shoulders unburdened, eyes illuminated, heart both tender and discerning. The trials ahead lose their power to intimidate when you recognize the shepherd's hand redirecting every storm. Your loved one's eternal legacy isn't pain, it's this profound awakening that propels you into your destiny armored with truth. The battle wasn't against flesh and blood, but against forces terrified of your awakening. Now, armed with celestial intelligence, you advance not with bitterness, but with compassion forged in heaven's fire. This is your moment of holy empowerment. The shadows lose their grip as divine light floods your path. Every step forward is sanctified, every lesson from the past consecrated. You're not merely surviving, you're being transformed into a living testament of resilient grace. The departed one's unspoken love now becomes your spiritual shield, their silenced warnings transformed into songs of victory. The story continues, more glorious than you dare imagine, every tear redeemed, every betrayal transformed, every secret revealed at precisely the appointed hour. Stand firm, warrior of light. The dawn you've awaited is breaking. In the quiet spaces between heartbeats, where eternity brushes against the fragile edges of time, a sacred conversation unfolds, one written into your soul's blueprint long before your first breath. The air hums with the weight of unspoken histories, of truths buried like ancient artifacts beneath layers of human frailty. This is not merely a message, but a living tapestry woven from divine threads, each strand pulsing with revelations meant solely for you. The cosmos itself holds its breath as you stand at the precipice of understanding, your spirit trembling like a compass needle finding true north after centuries of disorientation. From the depths where stardust mingles with sacred waters, a love beyond mortal comprehension rises to meet you. It has cradled your every stumble, collected the shattered syllables of prayers you couldn't voice, and preserved the salt of tears shed in solitary rooms. This love, older than mountains, vaster than the void between galaxies, now stirs the stagnant waters of half-truths you've carried like stones in your pockets. What comes next will feel like lightning splitting ancient oaks, like earthquakes reshaping familiar landscapes, but beneath the tremors lies the steady heartbeat of liberation. You've wandered through fog-shrouded valleys, clutching fragments of a puzzle that never quite fit, unaware that the missing pieces were kept safe in celestial vaults until this precise cosmic hour. There exists a soul who walked the razor's edge between revelation and silence, their earthly voice muted by forces seen and unseen. Picture them, this keeper of your untold story, sitting by windows as twilight bled into night, fingers tracing the shape of words too volatile to release. Their chest became a reliquary for explosive truths, their throat a prison for warnings that burned like swallowed embers. In life, they watched shadows coil around your light like venomous serpents, saw trusted hands dip poison into your cup of innocence. They witnessed the choreography of betrayal rehearsed in boardrooms and bedrooms, the slow erosion of your peace by smiling executioners. Death's arrival came too swift, severing their chance to arm you with knowledge until now, when eternity's timetable overwrites mortal constraints. The deception you've endured wasn't crude or obvious, but a masterpiece of spiritual counterfeiting. It wore the face of mentors who praised you while dulling your shine, lovers who worshipped your flame while plotting to snuff it out, allies who built altars to your potential only to later demand sacrificial offerings. While you extended olive branches, hidden blades were being whetted. While you danced at celebrations, funeral rites for your naivete were being chanted in secret chambers. The departed sentinel observed at all the clandestine meetings, the encrypted messages, the slow poisoning of wells from which you drank trustingly. Their silent screams now find voice through the divine megaphone, breaking through death's barrier to deliver what earthly limitations prevented. This unveiling isn't permission to don armor of bitterness, but an invitation to cultivate X-ray vision for the soul. The shadows you'll confront aren't monsters, but wounded children masquerading as giants, their venom born from festering insecurities you inadvertently mirrored. Your challenge lies in holding this knowledge like a surgeon's scalpel, precise, purposeful, life-giving rather than a barbarian's axe. True power blooms when fierce discernment dances with radical compassion, when you learn to spot the serpent beneath the flower without losing your capacity to marvel at petals. The war waged against your spirit operates in quantum dimensions, simultaneously already won and furiously ongoing. Each random misfortune, each evaporated opportunity, each friendship turned sour was a move in a celestial chess match, where your soul's destiny is the prize. The adversary didn't wreck your capacity to transform ambushes into altars, to alchemize betrayal into jet fuel for your ascension. What they intended to break you has been secretly forging your inner titanium, each trial a furnace stoked by divine hands to purify your purpose. Your departed guide now sees the full mosaic, how every heartache interlocks with triumph, how each tear irrigated dormant seeds of destiny. Their message arrives not as haunting, but as anointed equipping. They compel you to exchange rose-tinted glasses for prism lenses that refract light into its component truths. This isn't about distrusting humanity, but about anchoring so deeply in divine resonance that false notes vibrate out of tune with your spirit. As dawn breaks on this new epoch, you'll need to become a gardener of relationships, pruning dead branches, uprooting parasitic vines, nourishing roots of life-giving connections. Some bonds require boundaries as fluid yet firm as cell membranes, allowing nourishment and while filtering toxins. Dreams must incubate in sacred silence until their wings harden for flight. This isn't living defensively, but stewarding your divine assignment with wartime strategy and bridal tenderness intertwined. The void that ached like a phantom limb now reveals itself as holy incubation space, a cocoon where caterpillar instincts are being rewritten for winged destiny. Those sleepless nights spent interrogating the ceiling, those moments of déjà vu that prickled your skin like static, all were breadcrumbs leading to this banquet of clarity. The confusion dissipates like theater smoke, unveiling a stage set for your triumphant third act. Walk now with the gait of one who knows the plot twist. The betrayals that once crumbled your ground now form the unshakable foundation of your wisdom. Financial storms, emotional tsunamis, relational earthquakes, all were drills preparing you to captain ships through end-time squalls. The delays you cursed were divine pauses to fortify your infrastructure for coming glory. Your loved one's eternal chorus crescendos around you, not in mournful minor keys, but in anthemic harmonies that turn past pain into prophetic percussion. They whisper through the rustle of autumn leaves, their unspoken warnings now decoded as love letters from eternity. The battle you feared was yours alone, a hologram. The true war raged in unseen realms where angelic legions dismantled strongholds on your behalf. This sacred download demands response, not frantic doing, but deep being. Let the revelations percolate through your soul's soil, watering seeds of discernment that will sprout in perfect timing. Forgive your past self for trusting too freely that open heart was divine likeness in you. Now marry that innocence with serpentine wisdom, creating a hybrid vigor that disarms darkness with disorienting grace. The financial chain snapping, the sudden restorations, the inexplicable favor. These are merely trailer clips of the epic about to unspool. You'll trace blessings back to landmines avoided because a love stronger than death rerouted your path. The woman plotting in shadows? Her schemes will curdle into self-sabotage, her whispered lies echoing back as her own prison walls. Your role isn't combat, but steady abiding, a living testament that love's gravity ultimately pulls all shadows into light. Breathe into this new reality. Let it unravel the knots in your diaphragm, the ones formed from years of subconsciously bracing for disaster. The vigilance you've worn like a lead coat now transforms into lightweight armor, flexible yet impenetrable. Sleep will come deeper, laughter will ring truer, and synchronicities will multiply as you sync with heaven's rhythm. This isn't an ending, but Genesis in reverse, unearthing original blueprints buried under generational rubble. The healing ahead isn't linear, but fractal, each layer of revelation birthing deeper levels of freedom. There will be days the old ache whispers, moments when shadows momentarily dim your light. When this happens, touch the compass stone now embedded in your spirit, its needle forever pointing to truths no grave could hold. You're being commissioned as both archaeologist and architect, excavating buried truths while constructing new realms with reclaimed wisdom. The tears you'll shed in coming days are holy solvents, dissolving ancient shackles you've mistaken for jewelry. Stand in the downpour. Let the deluge wash centuries of curses from your DNA. The divine romance unfolding isn't about sheltering you from storms, but teaching you to command them. Those coming days when chaos erupts, you'll smile like a warrior poet, reading the battlefield with supernatural lenses, your very presence parting pandemonium like Moses' staff through seas. The seeds of this unshakable peace are being planted now, in this sacred moment of revelation. So let the ground shake. Let foundations crumble. Let veils tear from top to bottom. Beneath the rubble lies the unassailable kingdom prepared for you since time's dawn. Your departed guardian smiles from the victory stand, their earthly silence now transformed into eternal cheers that will accompany your every step. The story isn't over, it's being resurrected. Heavenly Father, architect of galaxies and keeper of my fragile heart, I come before you in the stillness of this holy moment, where time collapses into eternity. With trembling hands and a spirit laid bare, I receive the revelations you've etched into my bones, truths that have journeyed through lifetimes to reach me now. I surrender to this seismic shift in my understanding, this divine excavation of secrets buried too long. You who numbered the stars and carved canyons with your breath, now split open the veil between seen and unseen, pouring light into chambers of my soul that have waited in shadow. I thank you for the love that transcends death, for the voice of the one now beyond earthly bounds, whose whispers from eternity have pierced the silence. Their unspoken warnings, their stifled truths, their anguished silences now bloom like sacred runes in my spirit. I receive this posthumous love letter, this celestial inheritance, not with fear, but with awe for your perfect timing. Forgive me for the nights I cursed their silence, not knowing they fought invisible battles to shield me. Forgive me for misreading your delays as abandonment. Unclench my fists, Lord, as I release the weight of what if, and if only. Replace regret with revelation. Clothe me in armor forged in heaven's fires, not to wage war against flesh, but to discern spirits. Anoint my eyes with salve from your throne, that I might see allies in wolves' clothing and angels in strangers' guise. Make me fluent in the language of authentic love, attuned to the dissonant notes in honeyed lies. Where I once extended blind trust, plant holy caution. Where suspicion threatens to calcify my heart, pour liquid grace. Make me shrewd as serpents, gentle as doves, a paradox of wisdom only your spirit can sustain. Jealous lover of my soul, expose the rot festering in hidden places. Tear down facades I've mistaken for fortresses. Let every betrayal meant to break me become kindling for my anointing. For those who plotted in shadows, the ones who broke bread with me, while sharpening daggers I release them to your justice. Not my vengeance, but your redemption. If mercy can reclaim them, let it flow. If not, let your whirlwind sweep them from my path. I forgive, not because they deserve it, but because I refuse to let their poison linger in my bloodstream. Heal the fractures their deceptions caused. Where their words carved canyons of doubt, pour your liquid truth. Where their actions left craters of confusion, plant gardens of clarity. For every dream they sabotaged, resurrect a vision tenfold in glory. For every tear I shed in their betrayal, let a fountain of purpose spring forth. Transform my scars into constellations that guide others through their own nights of deception. Divine strategist, dismantle every trap set for my destiny. Let the enemy's playbook crumble to ash. Where they plotted financial ruin, open storehouses of innovation. Where they schemed to isolate me, send covenant relationships. Where they mocked my faith, amplify testimonies that shake hell's gates. I declare their weapons null, their gossip, their curses, their psychic warfare disarmed by the blood of the Lamb. Comforter, sit with me in the aftershocks of these revelations. When the ground of my old reality still trembles, be my unshakable foundation. When grief for the departed mingles with gratitude for their message, hold my contradictions. Remind me that death holds no veto over love's mission. Let their eternal chorus of warrior rise, drown out the enemy's taunts. Jehovah Nissi, raise your banner over the new territory I'm entering. Teach my hands to war with worship, my lips to battle with blessings. Make me a living bridge between mercy and truth, fierce enough to confront darkness, tender enough to weep with the broken. As I walk this illuminated path, let every step send shockwaves through hell's counsel. May my life become an anti-theft system against the enemy's schemes, a living declaration that what Satan meant for destruction, God has rewritten for resurrection. I relinquish control of this unfolding story. Have your way in the chaos, the healing, the rebirth. Let every revealed truth propel me deeper into your heart. Where answers still hide, let your presence be enough. I stand now shaken but not shattered, grieving but hopeful, wounded but healing, a mosaic of your relentless grace. Anchor me in this storm. I am yours. Amen.